Hello! I'm here to tell you about Pokemon Sapphire, the definitive review. The Japanese role-playing games from the Advanced Generation or Third Generation group include Pokemon Sapphire, Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Fire and Leaf Green. There are quite a few similarities between Sapphire and previous games. The reviews for Sapphire and Ruby recognize the new features available that didn't exist on previous Pokemon games. To date, Ruby and Sapphire are top sellers for the Game Boy Advance equipment. There have been more than 13 million units sold. The game is laid out from an overhead perspective. The main character is controlled by the player as in previous games. The purpose of the game action is to capture each and every Pokemon in the game. Additionally, the Elite Four must be defeated. This group is made up of Pokemon trainers in order to beat a criminal group trying to master the region. Operational features haven't changed much from earlier versions of the games. What's new with Sapphire? There are some new Pokemon abilities to test and use. Players can also enjoy double battles for more of a challenge. In these battles, opponents double up and fight 2 against 2. This gives the players more interest to keep the action going. Because the double combat scenes are possible, there are some moves in the game that affect 2 or more characters at the same time. The Sapphire game as played on Game Boy Advance has some interesting characteristics. 4 players can enjoy action at the same time, as opposed to the previous maximum of 2 players. The games can be connected to an e-reader for even more enjoyment. New innate abilities are shared by all members of a certain Pokemon species. Sapphire also has changed by adding a feature called the nature. The nature of a certain species of Pokemon will vary within the species. Both natures and innate abilities make a difference in battle strength of a Pokemon. They don't have a direct effect, but change the state of the Pokemon rather than the strength of the movements. The statistic of condition is another new feature introduced in Pokemon Sapphire. Condition is used to affect the outcome of contests. These are a type of mini-battle where participants compete in front of a judge. The Pokemon has a condition and their moves have a separate condition. Each of those factors is boosted through the use of Pokeblocks. This is a candy made from berries. Overall, Pokemon Sapphire is another excellent addition to the Pokemon Game Boy games series. I highly recommend it. If you decide to give it a go, you're definitely in for an exciting, thrilling, wild ride that you'll never forget.